Hi crafty friends, this is Luisa Heinzel. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to a new video. So it's really nice that you are here again. I'm pretty sure that you all know those little tiny things here, these bits and pieces that you sometimes have on your desk and you don't know what to do with them. So you know you need them, they are perhaps leftovers from a previous project, or you have collected them for your actual journal or for some reasons. And sometimes, even if you have some really good order in your stash, then there are those little tiny things where you don't know how to store them. And in this video, I'm going to try out a new idea to make a little storage box out of, oh, sorry, forget to take that out. I want to make a little storage box out of this packaging here from this Amicelli. Hopefully this packaging is available in your area, but even if not, you can of course take any other nice looking packaging that has a nice shape like this. So the idea behind this is not only to cover this whole thing up and make it a little bit sturdier, but I also want to make something like a template out of it so that I can make several of those boxes with the help of my template. So if you are interested to turn this normal sweet packaging into this, then this video is for you. So the first thing that I will do is I will take these things here away and I will try to take this apart. So hopefully that are the right English words. And as you can hear, this is glued with something, I guess, like hot glue or something like that. And I try to get this removed from this little wings here so that I can see how this packaging is made and use this for my template. Do this very carefully because, yeah, as you can see, sometimes it works not so well, but sorry, I will show you that in detail. Sometimes you have these little things here, but I think that's no problem because we will glue this whole thing back together later, and then that will be no problem. So I am only searching for the places where this original thing here is glued together. Okay, so now, sorry, it looks like this. As you can see, it's nearly, a simple shape when you look at it. But when you see it folded, then you think, oh my gosh, I can't do that. But I think with this thing here, it's really easy to make a template for another thing of this. So before I start with my planned project, I will take a piece of cardstock and then I will transfer all those things here to the cardstock so that I have a template for another one of these little storage boxes. And then I take a pencil, oopsala, sorry, and go around here and I press this down to the thing that's under it so that I get an exact line here around this shape. Okay, so I take this here, make it like this, and then I do the same thing here with my lines, like with the outlines. And here, hubby made a little mistake and opened the packaging not like it is planned to open it. But I have a solution for that. If you don't like that, tried to open this packaging like it is planned, so that you don't have these little things here. But I have a plan how I can manage that. But yeah, as you can see, it's a little bit destroyed here in this area. So now when you have this, you have your template to do another one of these things. And of course, you will need those little things here, these lines where the packaging is folded. I will do a little trick now and take a photo of this original packaging so that I can later on fold exactly where it has to be folded if I'm not able to remember how this was. For this folds that you have to make in your new thing, when you want to use the template, you can use a scoreboard, of course, or you can fold it and eyeball it a little bit, because when you trace this, I think you have a really great base for this whole stuff. Okay, so the next thing is, I would like to cover this up with some beautiful papers. So these are printables from my shop. I will link you that down below in the description box, and I want to choose some images from here that can fit to the single parts here of this packaging. And the plan is to cut pieces and glue it here, and then glue the whole thing back together. But when you remember how this was together, of course, this thing here has to flip several times. So you want to use this on your craft desk. And I think that this thing here can be a little bit too unsturdy for my personal preference when I don't back it with something, or don't put something here over this whole stuff. Yeah, and because of this, I would like to take something that can make this thing a little bit more sturdy. And I thought about that, how to manage this a long time, because everything that you would glue here, of course, makes the original packaging a little bit different. So this movement of this original flap here will be a little bit different, of course, when you put something here. But I think we can use a little thin fabric for this. So I take this and measure this here by eyeballing it. Then I take my scissors here, make it like this, and then, of course, when I glue it here, I can't open this up anymore because, yeah, that's too wide. So I have to cut it exactly in this width here. Let's do it like this. And I will make another piece for the inside that has the same measurements. So I take this one here, put it to the rest of my fabric, do it like this and like this, so that I have two pieces, one for here and one for the inside. And I want to do the same here on the top. Ta-da! Okay, so now I will put this here, and I use a normal glue stick for this. Of course, you can also use fabric glue or something like that, but I don't have that here. Okay, so when this is done, it looks like this. Not very beautiful, but of course you won't see this later, this little fabric things. And now I would like to trim my paper to get this whole thing covered up. And first I thought, okay, I can glue the paper all over this thing. But then, of course, when you glue this and you want to bring this later in this original position, I think you will have a really big problem with this, because this will be thicker, this whole thing, and I think you can't fold it as nicely as with my method that I would like to show you now. So I will make things of my paper here, so little elements of the paper that have exactly the size of this little elements here from the box. So I look, where's the fold here, where's the fold here, and I make one piece of paper that has this measurements here. And I would like to leave a little space here from this fold to the paper, so that I have the chance to bring this back in its original shape later, and that the fold hasn't any paper on it. Okay, so let's take the cutting machine and cut the pieces. Okay, so now I have to trace this little slot here, so that's not so easy. I take this paper, make it like this, so that I know the position. Then I turn it, and I take a pencil, and my paper here is really dark, so this green is a little bit dark, so I press really hard that I later can see this little thing here. You can also scribble here around, or you can take a black pen, for example, and go in here so that you can see where you have to cut this. And then I take a knife and cut this out. So this looks a little bit, yeah, not so nice, but of course we can, cover this later with some distressing ink or something like that. So the only important thing is that we have this little slot where later on our little thing from this side here can come in. Okay, so now we have this, and as you could see, I numbered this so that I know what comes to which place. And I think this was a really easy job. Now we come to this thing here. Okay, so now the next thing I would like to do is this side thing here, so this one and this one. And as you could see, I went around here with my pencil to get this shape, but now when I cut, I will cut a little bit inside of this line that I made with my pencil, so that I get a little bit smaller piece than the original thing is, so that I get this frame around. And I also eyeball this. Of course, you can measure that with your tools that you have at hand, but the first thing is I don't have any tools that can handle that, and the second thing is I want to show that it's also possible by eyeballing it. As you can see, this little thing here, of course, it comes from this piece here. And so that the pattern later, when it's closed, is one, and yeah, the original pattern. And as you can see, this little thing here is a little bit longer than the original thing here because of this little tiny hole there. I ignore that at this moment, and I would recommend to do that with your packaging as well, especially when it's another than this one, because when you glue this and later on when you put everything back together, then you can decide if you need this little thing here to close it nicely, or if you can cut that. And if you have to cut it, then you can of course take it over and see where you have to cut, and then yeah, use this original shape and cut this off. But sometimes, so I made some of these boxes with other packagings, sometimes it can be helpful to leave this little piece of paper so that it closes nicely. Now when we have all these things here on our table and all the yeah, all the shapes that we need for the front side, we can check that by laying them here and think, okay, that can work. Then please decide if you want to put gesso under your papers before you glue them. So why can that be helpful? Because when you print this to thinner paper, or you have a lighter pattern like this, where there's not so much color that came out of your printer, then it can happen that this original writing of the packaging comes through your paper when you have glued it. So it can be helpful to put a layer of gesso under this printouts. The next thing is, perhaps the packaging is made out of a material where you can't glue so nicely your paper on. Then it can be helpful when you put a layer of gesso, and that's a really good surface to glue things on. I realized that I can glue things really nicely by gluing this fabric, so I know, and I did another one from this before, so I know I can glue here. But when I don't know that and I want to go the safe way, then I would gesso the whole thing. The next thing that you can decide now is if you would like to have some pattern paper in the inside as well. I know when I will put this back together later, I will have this fabric things here in the inside, and the rest will be white. Now I can decide if I want to have a color inside, and if I want to put all those paper things again here, oh sorry, to the inside. So this is of course the other way around, but all the other things I could cut out twice and make the same thing for the inside. You can also paint this whole thing with the color of your choice. Acrylic paint would work really well. And then, yeah, decide what you want to do and do the whole thing before you put everything back together. So I will glue the things here without gessoing it because, yeah, I know that will work. Perhaps now you are sitting in front of your TV or your smartphone and you think, oh my gosh, what is she doing there? She is gluing the flip. So as you can see, I take the stripes here, this paper shapes, and I glue this to the edge here and here. But of course I need my opening here later, but I can see here and here very easily where I have to cut this. So hopefully that makes sense, so that you can, yeah, have one piece of paper here and you can cut it from the other side, and then you have those little things here in the right position, so that the pattern here and here as well, yeah, has no lost or something like that, and it will have a really nice slot here in the end. So let's glue the other things here. Okay, now it looks like this. And as you can see, I have glued the whole outside first before I did anything to the inside, because now I can take this whole thing a little bit carefully until it's dry, and I can put it together with my fingers without gluing it, of course, and checking if everything is there where I want it. And I can, when I make like this, I can feel if this is sturdy enough or not. Belonging to the material from that is your packaging made. It can be that you have to glue something inside here. Or when you want to store some things that are really heavy, or you want to carry this box around. I think when you only put some paper clips in it, this will be enough to do. But yeah, belonging to the material here, you can decide now when you take it and make it like this, you can feel how strong it is, and if you want to do something to the inside or not. And yeah, because of this fabric things here, you can see this is really sturdy. So that is one of these things here with the fabric. You can see that's this thing, and without, you can see it moves much easier, and it's not such sturdy. So another possibility would be to glue more stripes here, and that is the thing that I want to do, because I think the rest you can imagine when you put some paper here, some decorative paper or something like that. But I want to show you how this looks when we put this fabric here, so that you can later on have a look inside and you will see that this looks really nice. So I take this here, and of course you can also paint something here, or you can make a piece of artwork for the inside or something like that. You can do anything with it, what you want. And for this, of course, I take it a little bit longer, because here I have this opening and here not, so that I can take here the full length of this thing here. And another one. And perhaps you are asking why I don't do it here on this fold, because this thing will be the thing that later on goes here into this little slot. So this thing will be moved around really often. And I know perhaps it's a little bit fragile, but it has to be flexible as well. So yeah, when you have put the box together and you have finished this, and sometime perhaps this thing will get lost and will tear off here, of course you can easily repair it, because this flap here, you have access to this flap every time, so you can easily repair that by laying it down to the table and yeah, gluing a fabric or a washi tape or something like that. So now I will take my knife again and I will go here into this thing and cut my paper there. Now, as you can see, this is sorry, this is now open again. Now I will lay a heavy book here on top, and I will let this dry completely, and then I will be back. Okay, so this is now dry, and believe it or not, this is the rest of my glue that I have in this house, and I am really stressed because I don't know if that will yeah, be enough for gluing this, but let's try. I guess you can also use your hot glue gun to do this, and just take the single pieces here and bring them back to the position they have been before. If you use a hot glue gun, I would recommend to check the position for the single pieces very carefully in the beginning before you glue, because yeah, you have to be a little bit fast to do that, because the hot glue, of course, is dry very quickly. You can turn it like this and press it a little bit, and hopefully my glue is enough here. Yeah, it looks like this now. I think that is really beautiful. Beautiful. But I would like to distress it a little bit, because now you can see, okay, those patterns, she has cut them out, and yeah, it looks a little bit something like weird. And especially this fabric stripes there, I like them really much as they are. So as I said, you can do nearly everything to the inside, and you can close it like this, then it looks like this. And it can be that you have to manipulate this little slot here a little bit. As you can see, I have a little slot here, but I like this. I like this. Looks a little bit like a crocodile mouth or something like that. So I think I will leave it like this, but perhaps you have to manipulate this slot and make it a little bit wider with a knife or something like that, so that you can close it completely. Or what you also can do is put a little magnet here and here, so to the inside here and to this little flap, so that you can close it like this, and it will stay here like this. So that would be a possibility as well. I can't show you that because I don't have a magnet. But now let's distress this a little bit and look what is changing by distressing. And I decided to take this StazOn ink to distress, even if it's no distress ink. I know, I learned that, but this original packaging is made from a material that feels like plastic. So that's what's glued over this cardstock, this original cardstock. That is something like plastic, and I know that the StazOn ink will stay on this material, so I will have no problems when I use this here, even if it's not made for distressing. But yeah, I don't care about that, because I want something that stays long time, and that, yeah, I have for a long time, and so I do it like this. Ta-da! So this is what it looks now. As you can see, this distressing makes a really, really big difference. I just realized that I want to put a magnet here, so yeah, I think then it's a little bit more regular, but it will work as it is, of course, as well. And yeah, I think that looks really cool. And the coolest thing about this is when you now put your things into this, so like this, you will see that there is space for really many things. Of course, I wouldn't put them into this like this. Perhaps, don't know what's on my desk, but when I have all those little tiny things, and of course my washi tape wouldn't be in here because I have a place for my washi tape, but you know what I mean. There are things that perhaps don't have a place in your craft room, or you have to organize them. Then you can put those little things into this little tiny box here, and then you can close it. And when you make several of them, of course, you can staple them. And that's a cool thing, because you can put it like this and put the other ones here and on the top, and you can perhaps put a little label here, what's inside, and then you can easily find what you are searching for, so that you also can store all your small and small tiny bits and pieces that are sorted by theme or by color or whatever, that you can store them in those little boxes. And with this closure here, it's a little bit dangerous, but when you use a very strong magnet closure, you also can put them like this, so that they can stand on your table. So even if it's only flipped in here, you can see I can't open it so easy, so that you can also put them into your shelf like this, and from the side it would look like this, and I think that would look really, really cool. And that's also the reason why I made a template in the beginning. Let me just bring it back. So with this thing here, you can remember we made this in the beginning. I can make as many as I want from this. And I think that's a cool thing, so that I don't have to eat all those Amicelli things and becoming fat and something like that. So if this is possible with the corona thing, don't getting fat, but yeah, you know what I mean. So that I don't have to buy all these packages of this Amicelli things, but that I can easily make my own with my template. Yeah, another thing that you could do is you could put a little pocket here on the side. So just cut the half of this shape here, make a little pocket so that you can put tiny ephemeras like tickets or something like that into it. You will see that later on my photos that I blend on, that I will blend in at the end of the video. You can also put a magnet here inside, so I would recommend a really big magnet. And then you can take your paper clips, if you don't want to store them here inside, and or safety pins or something like that, and they would stick here with a magnet that's attached to the inside. So I think that's a really cool thing as well. You could also, another possibility, use some of those eyelets, make 2 holes here, put 2 eyelets here, and put a little string here, so that you can put something behind that's on the outside of this box. So if you would like to have some things here on the inside and you have some tiny ephemera or something like that, then you can also put that here to the pocket or this little string thing. Yeah, so hopefully this was an inspiring tutorial for you. Hopefully I will see some of those little boxes here in the internet in the future on Facebook or Instagram or somewhere else. So if you like to do this, please tag me in some way. So on Instagram, I'm at Luise Heinzl, as you can see here in the corner of my video frame and in the info box as well. If you like this tutorial, please, I would be really happy if you would subscribe to my channel if you like what I do here. And yeah, until the next time, I wish you a really happy, crafty time. I have to go to Amazon and order some new glue sticks now, and we will see the next time. So bye bye.